Here is a UFO that Gene Watson saw on, I believe it was Focus TV in Italy. Focus is like a channel, kind of like the History Channel on cable here in America that shows ancient aliens and that type of programming. He saw a program featuring a 1970 Canada UFO sighting that landed. I believe the UFO came down slowly, landed in the grass, left a landing mark, a swirl in the grass, and then it slowly floated off and took off. Gene Watson, the way he worked is if he saw a flying saucer or a UFO, part of his talent was in his mind he would say, okay, this is how that UFO worked. I know how this UFO works. So this is how he believes this 1970 Canada UFO works. So what he did is he used the concept of buoyancy. What is buoyancy? Well, many people, when they think of a buoyant craft, they'll think of a dirigible airship from the early 1900s, like a Zeppelin. Well, Gene Watson, in his self-published books, he touched on the subject matter of UFO buoyancy. And what that is UFOs can be buoyant, but also travel very fast. What he means by that is some UFOs could have gas inside and also a propellant where they could travel really fast. Now, when we think of balloons, when we think of buoyant objects, we don't think of speed because we're accustomed to seeing a blimp in the sky traveling really slow. It's floating, or a hot air balloon. But what Gene Watson, a topic he touches on when it comes to propulsion, is buoyancy in some UFOs where there's gas inside, like an airship, but they can also travel really fast with how he thinks this UFO works is electrical propulsion. His AC ionocraft, or EHD, electrohydrodynamic experiments. So here he has a picture of the UFO, which is dome-shaped. It's a dome-shaped disc or lenticular dome-shaped craft. And he says the details are it's buoyant, H2 gas in the dome part, vanes in the bottom portion. When on, it lifts. When off, it descends. And that means the power supply or the electrical thrust that occurs in the craft. Year 1970, high grass was squashed, not burned, when it landed. Power supply DC to variable frequency AC. And from my own research, this is true, that there were a lot of UFO landings, but the grass was not burned. It kind of had like a crop circle or swirling to it. In Australia, they were called flying saucer nest. So he has power supply DC to variable frequency AC. There is glass vanes corning on the bottom portion of the craft. Those are glass vanes. And he uses his ionocraft principle here, using AC, gas in, thrust, upwards, AC wave ionized gas, his AC ionic wave concept, glow, rebalzer, metal tubes 1 millimeter inside, insulated part of the tube. The positive and then the negative ionization occurs only at the tube tips. So that's how his ionocraft worked. He was using wire mesh, and the wire sticking out generated the thrust. AC power source output 180 degree phase. Shape not important. Mine, this is a shape he uses. Looks like a little vertical rectangle with triangles on each end. Taking electron from molecule accelerates the charged molecule. The same adding an electron, hence AC. And that is his version, or how he thinks, the 1970 Canada UFO worked. That was dome-shaped saucer that landed in the grass and then left a mark in the grass when it took off. It was a buoyant UFO using electrohydrodynamics propulsion.